Hello, villagers. Today we're going to explore Google Drawing. It's a tool that can come in handy many times, especially in Google Docs. There are two ways to get to it. One I will show you first is in your Google Drive. If you go to New and then go down to More, you will then see all of the apps that you have attached to your Google Drive. You can see I have quite a bunch. You may only have just the basics. Okay, and here is Google Drawing. So if I click on that, it will then open up a new tab and we'll see Google Drawing. So you can draw uh, right here and insert images. I'm going to show you all of that in a few minutes. This is using drawing as its own separate little tool, which comes in handy. But I'm going to show you using it a slightly different way. So I'm going to close out of this and I have a document open already. I can go at any point into my document and go to Insert, Drawing, and then add a new one. And that's what I'm going to do for my example. I can also, if I had a saved drawing, get it from my drive. But let's go to New. So if you notice, the drawing window here looks almost identical to what we saw before. It's just a little bit smaller. So we have a bunch of drawing tools at the top that we'll explore and work with. And I'm going to show you about three different ways that you can use these tools. And I want you to experiment with them and get familiar with using them. And that's the best way to do it. So let's start with, I want to just do a simple little drawing. Now, at, I'm not great at drawing, but I hope that you will be, especially since you have an amazing um, art teacher. So let's start with the basics. I'm going to go up here and grab a shape. I'm going to start with a rectangle and I'm going to just click and drag and kind of make a little base for the first part of my picture. Let's see if you can kind of figure out where I'm going with this. I'm going to fill this in with light green and then, oh, maybe I want to make it a little bit taller. That looks good. And now I want to grab another rectangle and I'm going to draw another box. Okay, right about there. Oops. And it didn't go as planned, but what's okay is I can always resize these at any point to make them exactly the way that I want. And of course, you do have an undo arrow up here if you need that. So it did take the fill color that I just used. So I'm going to go up to my fill bucket and I'm going to choose a light blue. That looks good. So now I would like to make a little house. So I'm going to go up here and choose another rectangle. And let's say there's my house. I can choose a color for it. And once again, you get as creative as you want with it. Maybe I'll do, there we go. And I'm going to choose now, put a little peak on my house, a little roof. So instead of now using a rectangle, I'm going to go ahead and use this triangle. And I'm going to click and drag. And you can see it filled it in. Now maybe I'd like to go back and do some more decorations on my house. Oops, clicked the wrong thing. Choose another rectangle. Maybe put a front door on my house. I can fill that in with another color, maybe just plain old white. And then of course I can repeat this and go into add a window or two. There's one. And go up and add a second one. Okay, so I can get pretty creative and add some more things to it with this. Also in the shapes, you can go in here and explore other things that it has. There's a nice sun right here. So I can go up here, drag out a nice little sun, change its fill color, and there I have a basic drawing. And of course, you can get much more creative with it than I did. So I'm going to click Save and Close, and what's going to happen is it automatically puts this in to my document as a size that you see. Now this can be resized as well, and it's basically a picture in your document. So I could use my wrap text and I can move this around and put it anywhere I want in my document. Okay, and if I realize, oh, I want to make some additions or changes to it, I just double click on it and it automatically opens up the drawing window again, and I can continue adding things that I like. So let me click Save and Close. I'm done with that one. What I'm also going to put on your document is a picture of Village School for this next example. You may want to use this or pick something else. Um, so what I want to do is first cut this picture if you plan on using this Village School one. I tried searching for it on the web. It's a little hard to find, so that's why I just added it to this document for you. So I'm going to right-click my mouse. I'm going to go to Cut because I'm going to take this away from my document, just temporarily though. And then I'm going to go to Insert, Drawing, and go to New. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to right-click and go to Paste. Okay, so there's my picture of Village School. I'm going to resize it a little bit, make it larger. And I'm kind of going to make like a little meme here and add some text to it and maybe change its shape. So here we go. I'm going to click on the picture and I'm going to go up here to crop. Here's my crop tool. And I'm going to click this little down arrow that's next to it right there. And I'm going to crop it to a shape. And there's lots of choices in here, so you can look around and choose what you'd like. I'm going to stay in the shapes category, and I am looking for a heart. So there we go. I just changed Village School to a nice little heart. I would like now to add some text to it. So this is the text box. If I click on that, I then can click and drag out a text box. And of course, I can still move it around if it's not exactly where I want it. And now I can start typing. Even if you don't see the little blinking line, your cursor, you can just start typing automatically. It'll appear. So I'm going to put I miss DES. Okay, and I can highlight my text. I can change a different font style. I can make it larger. And even though I don't see all of my text tools, if I click these three little dots for more, I get a chance to see the rest. I can make things bold. I can change, add a highlighting color. I can change the text color if I wish. Okay, so there's all kinds of things I can choose there with it. There's also other features if I want to experiment. There's a border. If I want to add a border around my picture, there's different styles of borders as well that you can experiment with. And let's see what else we might have. That actually looks pretty good. One other thing you can do under Actions, there's this thing called Word Art. So if you click on that, you can type in your text and press Enter. And there we go. It just creates kind of almost like a picture, almost like cool text, things like that you've been using, and you can customize this as well. You resize it just like you would cool text. You do have a fill color that you can change. You can change the lines that go around the outside again and add different effects to it. So that's kind of cool to experiment with as well if you want to add that to your project. So that's another use for it. Let me save and close. And there it is. And once again, this is a picture, so I can resize it. I can make it wrap the text and move it around to where I want. So that does come in handy, especially in a document. Now, the last thing is kind of like a graphic organizer. So this is the last one I'll explain to you. Let's go to Insert, Drawing again, and go to New. And under my shapes, I'm going to add a circle or an oval and drag that out at the top. So let's say I wanted to do, something about a story, some of their main characters. I'm going to go ahead and type in main characters, Aracters. Okay, and I can choose my text effects if I like. Maybe 24 is a little too big. Maybe 18. If I go over here to more, this I can find my center icon. So I can center it nicely in there. And now I want to connect it to something. So I'm going to go ahead and add a different shape. I'll just use a basic square, and you guys can come up with the ideas of how you want to use a graphic organizer. But if it was a story and I wanted to list the characters, I would just list the characters in here. You can give their names and so on. Okay, and then I want to go and click this. This is a line, and if you notice, as I move my mouse on it, see the little dots pop up? So these are the little connection points. So I can click here and now drag and connect it to one of my squares. And now it will be connected. And if it loses connection, you can just go back up and connect it again. If you have trouble, it might take you a time or two. Remember, you can always click undo. You can always click on this line and click delete, and it will go away. So let me connect it again. I'm going to click on my line. I'm going to hold and drag, and you see how the dots automatically pop up, so I can connect it to any one of those dots. And then I can keep repeating this process and adding some more. And even if I wanted to, I can continue down below and use a different shape. I can make other categories and subcategories however I like. And then, of course, start joining things together like so. There we go. And I can start connecting things together if you want to do it that way. And if you decide that you don't want something, just click once on it and delete, and that will take it away. And just like all the other examples, when you click save and close, there it is. And it is still a picture again, so I can resize it. I can wrap my text and move it around. And lastly, if you ever need to go back into it, just double click and it automatically takes you in, and you can edit and work on it some more. So I gave you 3 examples to try. Feel free to try one or all 3 and see what you come up with, and use this tool when you need it. Remember, you can do it right here within a document by going to Insert and then Drawing, or you can go right from your drive by going to New and then More and Google Drawing. All right, good luck.